I want to do a quick video on Martin Luther King because it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And let's watch Martin Luther King Jr. You know, as soon as he was at that door, he just had a humbleness to him, and it was from these shoulders. As they are. Not slumped like he's a sloucher, but just a moved forward humbleness. And we can say it's humbleness because his chin is still held up at a respectable level. Looks people in the eye, greets them, that same humbleness.
I said to Dr. King, I ought to put you right in the middle. I wasn't thinking. You've been put in the middle quite often,
right.
haven't you?
That's very right.
Dr. King, why did you decide to urge Negroes not to fight in Vietnam?
Well, I think my view has been a little distorted at that point.
And this is what I really loved about him. He wasn't afraid to come back with what it was. I think my view's been a little distorted. And he's saying it in such a way as to not provoke anger, but get his point across. He's not challenging him like, oh no, you're lying. You're just, and he's using very respectable language. He thinks about his answers. And he comes back with facts.
I haven't only urged Negroes not to fight.
And he looks him directly when he says that.
I feel that the war is so unjust, so abominable, so futile and bloody and costly that nobody should be fighting there. I have limited my concern to...
And he still keeps that really good eye contact.
to just the American Negro, although I know we are dying.
And he's going back and forth. So he's engaging the audience, one, because probably an all-white audience. And he's surrounded. And his whole goal in race relations was to actually have a relationship, not division. Let's get rights and have unity, not tear each other's throats out. And he does that beautifully. So intelligent.
In disproportionate numbers there.
I know it's really hard to see, but he's such a small movement type of man. It even comes across in his eyes. And as you watch him, pay attention to his eyes and how many directions he goes into. He looks in memory a lot. He looks in his visual. He's just very intelligent. He's not a one-thought man where one viewpoint is accepted. He looks around.
And we are on the losing end both there and at home, because as long as the war in Vietnam continues, social programs will inevitably suffer here at home.
Well, don't you think that your remarks have created doubts about the...
The interviewer, on the other hand, besides his mouth is saying things that are challenging to Dr. King, his body language says he is submissive to Dr. King.
Negro's loyalty to his country?
See how his neck went down? Loyalty down. So he's saying something that's aggressive, but he bows his head down to Dr. King. So he's not trying to be such a butthead, but he is asking a tough question.
Well, some people may feel that. I don't think our loyalty to the...
And now that we can see this gentleman, he also has the same position as the interviewer.
Country should be measured by our ability to kill. I think our loyalties to the country should be measured by our ability to lead the nation to higher heights of democracy and to the great dream of justice and humanity.
And you see his body is moving. He's honest not only with people but himself as well. And he speaks eloquently.
You honestly feel, Dr. King, that the war in Vietnam could...
And you see him scoot down. He's getting comfortable into this interview. He didn't adjust, but he did a scoot down. And adjust is like a side to side to shift a weight from one hip to the next hip, he did a scooch down to relax his back even more.
Be stopped now without harm to this country?
Well, there are two ways to deal with it. One is a unilateral withdrawal. I don't oppose that because I feel that this is a possibility. After all, France withdrew unilaterally from Algeria. It withdrew without a military victory. Mm-hmm. And this did not lessen France's prestige or influence in the world. If anything, it increased its prestige in the world.
France is not the power that this country is.
Well, I think
Look how submissive this interviewer is to Dr. King. You know, for the civil rights time and how controversial Dr. King was to the mindset of then, these two interviewers have obviously a lot of respect for him. And it's showing. It's showing right on through like the sun is shining. And instead of being... he sees this. This is obviously seen. That's why he got comfortable, because of the way they're acting. But instead of turning around and being aggressive and demanding, he said he scooted down, he got comfortable, and let's have a conversation. And we don't see that too much anymore with the NAACP. There's no more conversation. It's mine, 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 mine. Give, 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 give. Minions fight, die, go to jail. I get rich. Dr. King he was out there marching with you, and if you went to jail, he was right there with you. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, and he didn't go on the Atkins diet. Really miss these leaders that we used to have, and they killed them both. We'll watch a little bit more and then we're going to cut it off.
that's an even greater reason why we should restrain our power. There's always the danger that any nation will abuse its power. And I think our power must be much more than military power. We don't need to prove.
You see him talking with his hands. That's what I mean by his movements are so small that he's talking with that hand and it's giving slight movements to emphasize his words. And I think that is the allure of really good people who speak not falsehood, but they have got honesty and truth in them. When compounded with their small movements, it draws people to them.
To the world, anybody, our military power, I think we've got to prove our moral power.
And the reason why is because those small movements don't say, I'm going to invade your space. He's staying really into his space and he's not endangering moving into his or outside of his space. Those two gentlemen see his small movements, and other people that have been around him see his small movements, and their body language says, okay, I'm comfortable being around you because your movements are so small, even though you're such a large individual and you command a lot of respect. I know you're not going to invade my space or assault me. So I trust you. It's just more trust on top of the truthfulness that he's giving out.
Do you feel that this nation has abused, as you say, their power?
Oh, I certainly do in the war in Vietnam. I have no doubt about that. I'm not saying that it was done with evil motives in mind. I think we made a huge mistake.
He was very careful in that wording. The way this scrunched up and that he brought his head down. Let's look at that again.
Calculation with evil motives in mind.
That neck move, evil motives. He's being very careful in what he's saying there. And considering the environment that he was fighting, that would make sense. All right, well, we're going to end it here. I could not go through Martin Luther King Day and not post Martin Luther King. If you liked it, leave a like. If you liked the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.